to. In today's video, we are going to show you how to create your very own 3-piece photography backdrop in your own studio. My friend and I wanted to create our own 3-piece backdrop in the most non-destructive way possible, meaning not screwing into the walls. The goal of this whole backdrop is to have as little friction as possible to when we are looking to create. Ideally, the backdrop stays up, doesn't come down, it's built, it's ready, you literally pull down the chains and you're ready to shoot. After going through this process together, we realized that it's actually very simple if you had the correct blueprint in front of you when you first started. Unfortunately, we did not have that blueprint because there's not that many videos on YouTube that show you how to do this. But lucky for you, we learned the hard way, and we are going to tell you everything that we've learned, what to do, what not to do in this video. First thing you're gonna need are 2 C-stands. Next thing you'll need are 3 aluminum tubes that go into the backdrops.
See, like this.
We just made the realization that one box comes with 1 of these, where I thought it came with 3 of them. The first mistake is a pretty silly one. Regarding the paper background, it's recommended that you insert a metal tube inside the paper so that it prevents bowing or sagging of your paper, which eventually leads to crinkles, which is something you don't want. This normally happens when the paper's been up on your backdrop for a long period of time and when there's more humidity in your space. So a lot of pros out there will recommend you to put this metal tube inside the paper backdrop to help prevent any bowing, sagging, which means no crinkles in your paper. If you are someone who's getting a lot of work and will be going through a lot of paper, then the tube might not be a necessity for you. But if you're someone who is trying to conserve as much paper as possible and can see these colors stay on their backdrops for a while, then I would definitely recommend investing in the tubes. Now, when I first bought this tube, I read that it was a 3-piece tube. I assumed that meant 3 long tubes in the package. But then after it got delivered, we realized that the 3-piece tube is actually 3 pieces of the metal that connect together to give you one 9 or 10 foot long tube. That was the first mistake, which just meant you had to order 2 more tubes, which brings up the total to 3 tubes for $150. Next, you're gonna need your backdrops. We are doing a 3-piece system. You are gonna need the triple hook background system if you are doing 3 backdrops. Then you're gonna need 3 separate Vari-Drive sets that come with metal chains. This is the system that we chose through B&H. It's the Impact brand, and it was all sold as one bundle. So this actually came with 3 separate ones. Luckily, B&H sells the backdrop system as a bundle on their website, which I will link down below. And in this bundle, it gives you everything you need from the 3-piece backdrop holder to the Vari-Drives, which is what lets you pull down the paper from the backdrop with metal chains. Something that isn't included in that pack are the super clamps. Basically, you need these clamps to attach your bracket to the C-stand that you'll be attaching it to. Most videos recommend only 2, because technically you only need 2 super clamps, but I would recommend going for 4 super clamps, because then you can have 1 on each corner of your bracket, which basically gives you more peace of mind and assurance knowing that there's 4 friction points instead of just the 2. Now, this next mistake nobody talks about, but lucky for you, I learned the hard way. When you want to attach the super clamps to the bracket, to the C-stand, you're going to need certain screws. Another thing you will need are these 10-32 by 1/2 inch screws that will screw the Impact super clamp into the bracket. These screws are not included in any of the packaging, and you'll have to provide them yourself. I didn't know this, so I had to take the super clamp into Lowe's, ask a very helpful employee to find me the exact screw that I needed, and luckily it was only like $2 or $3. And then you'll need a rubber liner so that you can create some friction between the metal bars and the backdrops. Any will work. We recommend the liners you find that you put underneath your utensils in your kitchen drawers. And another pro tip for you is to have something flat and thin handy to help shove and push this liner in between the tube and the backdrop to add that friction. So this is our current status update. We got 2 of the stands up, just waiting for 1 more tube. Can you show us a little demo of how these chains work?
You got the chains on this wheel. It just makes it easy to just pull down. And what we've also done, when we get the 3rd one, we're having stagger. So this one has a chain, the one all the way over there, the 2nd chain, and the 3rd one will be a chain that gives us its own area to be able to pull. I think I like our system. This is real simple. It's a real easy setup.
I recommend 2 people because you can't lift this up by 1 person. And you'll notice up there that we got those rubber grips in there that we stuffed in. Basically, that's in there just to create some extra friction so that we can turn these wheels down. Also, we got sandbags. We need more. Definitely need sandbags on this because it's a heavy setup. but it's looking good. Overall, this process was actually very easy if you had the blueprint in front of you before going into it. If you're planning on screwing the backdrop straight into the wall, then this is actually easier than what we did. All you need to do is have a stud finder, find a good stud, and have a leveler, and you're pretty much set. The other option that we could have went with was to go with something called auto poles, which are basically these long poles that keep extending from the floor to the ceiling and will stay in place with pressure. This is a good option if you're trying to save as much floor space as possible. And the reason we didn't go with this option was because the poles that I found were a bit shy of the height that we needed, so we had to get some extension poles for it, which after everything kind of went over budget. And we already had these C-stands before and we knew they were sturdy, so we just thought we could make them work with sandbags. And they work, but they do take up a little bit more floor space. Okay, and now we just officially finished the backdrop. It really wasn't that much work. It was just more so that there wasn't a full-on tutorial that showed how to do it this way without screwing into the walls. So now we created the tutorial. If you're looking to create your own backdrop at home, I think this is the least destructive way to do it. After using these backdrops for a bunch of shoots recently, I've had the opportunity to test them and see what's good, what's bad, anything I've noticed, anything I want to change. And the thing that I have actually noticed is that it's pretty heavy up there, and it does cause the backdrop to sway a little when you're pulling the paper down. Since we have everything properly sandbagged and weighted, there's no worry that it's gonna fall. But when you see the swaying motion, it does cause a little uneasiness. So far, so good. Who knows, maybe in the future we might swap the C-stands out for the auto poles. Another thing to keep in mind when you're pulling down the backdrops is to go slow. There's this black anchor piece in the chain that is supposed to smoothly glide down as you pull in any direction. What I've noticed is that when I'm pulling a little too fast, it gets caught up and then you won't be able to pull any more paper down or up. I haven't had an issue because I always caught myself before I let it go too far. Also, when you are pulling any paper down, it's nice to do it with two people. What I like to do is while I'm pulling the paper down through the chain, the second person will grab the paper from the middle of the backdrop and slowly pull it out as I pull the paper down. This way, it comes out smoothly and doesn't crinkle when it touches the floor. I usually have the client help with this part because it's easy to do, they want to help, and it makes them feel more a part of the shoot. Overall, that is it. We've had this backdrop up and running for a few weeks now and have had plenty of shoots on it. And I gotta say, it's been pretty fun and definitely has made the process so much more seamless. It makes you more motivated to shoot, and it's nice to have that flexibility to show to your client, hey, I got this color, and this color. What outfits do you want to match with it? Oh, let's try this. Let's play with that color. Hey Tracy, what are your thoughts on our new tripod? Or our new backdrop?
This is so dope. I love it. I can't wait to use it.
Dude, how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
6'1". Boom, I think we're up to like 9 feet, 10 feet right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, everything is going to be linked down below to help you with this process if you are trying to build this yourself. And thank you for watching. Let me know if I missed any tips. And if you're still here, check out another video. Thank you. Peace.